Guys, if you're not married and you're not in a relationship and you want to scroll for this one, scroll, because it's about menopause. If your wife is under the age of 45, girlfriend, whatever, under the age of 45, and she has reached menopause, you might want to stick around. A lot of people don't consider the nutrients that are required to produce testosterone that then gets changed into estrogen through aromatization. And they don't think about how their nutrition might be playing a role in their hormone health. And most people say, and I even saw a commercial today that said menopause can start as early as 30. Nope, that's considered early menopause, and it is a problem for your long-term health. Some of the very basic nutrients that they can test to see if you can come out of early menopause are vitamin D, magnesium, selenium, iodine status can actually determine whether or not you'll produce testosterone and estrogen, manganese, molybdenum, and they can also test your omega-3 index. Now, they can test zinc as well, but zinc is something you use on a daily basis and probably should be supplementing with on the daily basis anyway. But if you're not, you might consider it because it is helpful as well for a healthy immune system. Some other things to consider that are good for testosterone and estrogen production both are vitamin C and boron. There's actually a clinical research study out of Harvard that shows that taking zinc and B6 can prevent the onset of menopause by 2 years. So why am I talking about this? Protein deficiency is also a cause for early menopause. If you have a protein deficiency, it also means you can't produce testosterone. So the important things to note are that you have to get enough protein. Now, the recommended daily allowance for protein for a female is 65 grams. I'm going to tell you that to have healthy hormones and also healthy muscle tissue, you need at least 90, which is 3 meals with 30 grams of protein. If you're trying to build lean muscle, not just maintain what you have, you're going to want at least 3 meals with 40 grams of protein. And that's for a female. Males, your minimum should be 120 grams of protein a day. Minimum. Most of you need closer to 155 to 175 grams of protein a day. Now let's talk about thyroid medication, GLP-1s, and gastric sleeve or gastric bypass surgeries and how they affect protein specifically and vitamin and mineral nutrient absorption specifically. Thyroid, Synthroid specifically, that medication actually decreases an enzyme in the stomach that helps break down proteins, which makes it harder to digest food, which makes most thyroid patients feel like they are not hungry. They lack hunger. GLP-1s do the same thing. Gastric sleeve, gastric bypass, those have bypassed a portion of the stomach designed to break down protein. So how do you get enough protein if you can't break it down or you're just simply not hungry and you're force feeding yourself? The other thing about the omega-3 index is a lot of people that have issues with their thyroid also end up having issues with their gallbladder, especially if they've been put on Synthroid. It's almost like the two go hand in hand. You lose this enzyme that helps you break down protein, so then your gallbladder is trying to dump more bile, your liver gets overwhelmed because it's taking a synthetic medication, blah, 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 and there's just a problem, right? So the gallbladder goes bad, digestion gets worse, you stop absorbing essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids are necessary for cholesterol production, and cholesterol is how that whole cascade of testosterone and estrogen start in the first place. So the omega-3 index test can tell us if you have enough good fat in your body available for your body to make its own cholesterol in order to make testosterone and estrogen. Let's also not leave progesterone out because progesterone is both heart and bone protective, and you do need both, and that can be tested as well. So if you're Low cholesterol, meaning you're less than somewhere between 185 and 215, maybe even up to 225. Even if you have a healthy HDL, which is between 55 and 90, and you have a low HDL, meaning it's less than 100. If you don't have enough cholesterol to wrap every nerve in your body with cholesterol, give some cholesterol to the brain so it can function and be protected as well, and have cholesterol to digest any fiber you're taking in your diet, you are certainly not going to make hormones. And you need them. They are actually life-sustaining. In fact, there is research that shows that for men, testosterone below the level of 400, we start to see increased depression, and below 300, we start to see increases in suicidal ideation. One of the things that we see in eating disorders is significant enough hormone shifts that menarche stops. Some people would say that you can get this restarted by restoring a normal nutritional balance in that female. This is also true of someone between the age of 30 and 45, and some women all the way up to the age of 50. But the problem is we have to stop normalizing early menopause unless it's surgical in nature. And this is also where it becomes significantly important to have a nutrition plan in place when you are using thyroid medication and you're going to add digestive enzymes to that, when you've had a gastric sleeve or gastric bypass surgery and you're going to add digestive enzymes to that, and also if you're using any of the GLP-1 medications. Because if you stop eating, you disrupt normal processes in the body and you make it harder on the system to recover. This is not bashing any one medication. This is saying the education around it needs to be different. If your minimum for protein is at least 2 meals with 30 grams of protein each, and that's according to the RDA, but we know that most of their recommendations don't keep people healthy. They keep them barely in survival mode, and you want to be healthy. You need at least 3 meals with 30 grams of protein, which means that you might need help like a digestive enzyme or ox bile or something like that to help you get that meal down. Now, some people ask, what about protein shakes? The protein shakes can have a lot of stuff in them that you don't really want, the stuff you don't want to take in. And while there are some clean brands out there, and I have some that I could recommend for you, less than a third of your calories should be coming from a protein shake. Less than a third of your protein should be coming from a protein shake. You need that protein to be food that you have chewed and digested so that your body knows what to do with it. Somewhere in this stack of videos you can go back and watch, I did a video on how to chew your protein shake so that your body might view it differently, but that's still not a guarantee. And once you're in a deficit that causes a biological process to stop, getting you back to normal takes extra. So the 90 grams, that's your bare minimum. But to restore a function that has stopped, we're going to need 120. If you have questions about how to navigate nutrition while also losing weight and maintaining healthy metabolism and a healthy gut, reach out to me.